Hello, Kian. I'm totally glad that you accepted to come to that interview, to my interview. And I invited you because you did something that is not only totally crazy, and some people would say that is dangerous. It's totally crazy and dangerous. And I would say until now, I thought it is also just impossible. You did something that is, some people would say, impossible. The human skin burns from a temperature at about 50 degrees. And you walked over across like a catwalk of glowing charcoal that was about 400 to 600 degrees heat. And the fear of fire is deeply written into our human cells. And my first question to you is, what attracted you when you heard about that firewalk? What attracted you so much that you decided to raise your interest?
Yeah, first of all, hello, Martina. I think you said hello, but I didn't. I think it cut out. Thank you for having me. I'm really glad to be here and to share this deeply impactful story of my life with you and with other people. And what sparked my interest about this firewalk that we're talking about, I think you didn't name it. It's a firewalk. Is the idea of initiation, the idea that there's a doorway, like there's something that I can do or participate in that kind of invites me deeper into an experience of what it means to grow up and what it means to be alive. And yeah, I have this calling throughout my life already in different areas. And when I first heard Clinton, I think, speak about the firewalk, this immediately sparked this interest in me of wanting to have this kind of right to grow up.
So you already, when you heard about that, you already thought about that it is an initiation. You used that word initiation. Can you say more about that word, what that means for you in your life?
Yes. For me, initiation means, and I'm kind of taking this a little bit from Clinton or from the possibility management context, is initiation is something, an experience I go through after which I can take more responsibility for my life. And for me, this includes something like I go through a transformative or even a kind of edge experience that makes me crack open the shell or the box that I have lived in before a little bit more, so I can see a little bit more of the reality that is going on outside of my construct of how I am used to perceive life. And through this kind of crack, I feel also more of what it means to be in an intimate relationship with life. And from this experience, I get a new reference point from which I can relate to life, from which I can stand in life and kind of interpret. I don't want to use it, it's so mentally, but it's more like from which I can perceive life.
Yeah, okay. There are there are so many things what you said right now where we could go on talking about. There are so many doorways that you just opened, and I'm a little bit sad because I'm not sad, I'm also excited, but I'm sad because we cannot talk about everything that you just said. So when I thought about the preparation for that firewalk, and I thought when you for example, when you prepare to climb the Mount Everest, you are doing many weeks and months and sometimes even years to prepare for that, and you make more and more demanding tours to smaller mountains, and then you climb 4,000, you climb 6,000, and then finally you are able to reach that goal and climb that highest mountain of the earth. Can you tell us a little bit about how was your preparation to do that physical, I want to repeat that, physical impossible thing to walk across glowing coal?
Yes. And in my own story about it, I tell myself that all the feelings work that I've done before was already preparation for this experience, to go through it as I did. And in the specific context of this 1.5 day workshop firewalk, the preparation was basically we had 1 day from morning 10 till evening around 7 or 8 of preparation, and then at 8 o'clock the firework started. Something like this. I think the times might be a little off. It was a really timeless day for me, and it persisted of basically 2 parts of diving more into 2 feelings. First, the feeling of anger, and then the feeling of fear. And the intention, or how I understood the intention around this, is you need your anger as a resource to go for what you want to go for. Your anger is this kind of power that tells you what you care about, what's important for you. And so to connect with this first is, so you build this initial intent of, okay, I have my power at my side and what I care about and what I want to walk over the fire. And the second one is the feeling of fear, which, as you said, is like this fear of fire, the fear of hurting oneself, the fear of dying, of burning, is so deeply part of human nature, or many humans probably. And you need your fear to stay awake while you walk over the fire. You need your fear to stay in your body. You need your fear to be very accurate and present about the timing and rhythm you walk over the fire. Like it's this kind of thing that keeps you awake in the moment, that you need to also walk the fire. So these 2 were the and we did different exercises for these feelings. We did like standing rage with holding each other and shouting and letting our nervous system flow the energy of anger and of fear, actually both, while being in connection with another person and without contracting. Because when you contract and you walk the fire, you burn. Basically, that's the.
What does that mean when you contract? Can you say more about that?
Yes. So this is how I understood it, and I'm not 100% sure it's like this, but how I understood it is, what you need to do when you walk over the fire then in the end, after the preparation, is to feel your feelings fully, allow them to, at the high intensity that you feel them, move through your body without your body contracting. Because when your body contracts and the energy cannot flow, this I will get later to it. This hot energy of the coals, you feel it in your feet, and when you do not let it move through your body, it hurts you.
Okay. So, and what you said also, I heard that it could be possible that you leave your body while walking across the fire. Can you say more about that?
Yes, the big part of the preparation was to stay with your energetic body, with the intensity of high feelings in your physical body.
Wow.
And so we made this exercise with the fear, where we stood in front of each other and looked into each other's eyes and let our fear just grow, and like let it grow and make sounds with it, go into really high intensity of fear, and feel when the moment comes when my energetic body leaves my body, my physical body, and to kind of learn to play with this edge, because this is a really visceral sensation that many people do not notice, that they actually, when they feel high intensity of fear, they kind of leave their physical body with their energetic body, kind of go backwards out or something like this. And to kind of learn to play with this edge and let it grow a little bit bigger, stay a little bit longer in one's physical body. So it's a real embodied experience of walking over the fire.
So the leaving the body would be a possibility to not feel this high intensity of feelings. That's
Yes.
right. Okay.
Yes. And also maybe you would feel it on some level, but not fully integrated. It was a lot about integrating the physical, the emotional, and the energetic experience to one and staying in it. I like leaving it as one, not separating it.
Can you say 2 or 3 sentences about that setting? How, where was that fireplace? How many people were there? How was what kind of fire was that? Who prepared that? Just a little, give us a little information. What happened there?
Yes, this firewalk happened in Poland in a very, for me, special place. It's called the Spirit Farm, and it has a really, it's a place where I could feel like I could really connect with the land of Poland. And it's taken care of by 2 elderly people. It has this kind of quality of really, here, what happens here is working together with the land. And so it was a special place already. And the setup was, we had to prepare the fire. We had 3 very 2 meter or maybe 1.5 meter high piles of wood, like huge piles. And we kind of set it up, made like water around this place, and the space holder, actually, Michael Hallinger, and forgot the other guy's name, maybe it will come later, actually. And Arthur Dorsch, yes, Arthur Dorsch. And they are firewalking instructors for many years, as I understood. And they do this usually in Germany most of the time. And what we did then was set those huge piles on fire, let them burn down. It was an intense fire, like everyone kind of helped to build it, to put it on fire. And really we need to take 10 meters, stand 10 meters away from it, because it was so hot, like these huge wooden piles burning. We let it burn down mostly, and put then out the big, like Michael and Arthur put out the big burning logs, and only left the coal, and made like a 7 or 8 meter long trail of really thick, like you would sink into this burning coal thing with your feet, really thick, glowing coal catwalk in a way.
So the Cold War had a hate.
Yes.
Is the right word? So that you not only have it on your palm, is this the word?
Yeah, palms.
It was also getting higher. Is that right?
Yes. You would basically sink in that much into these These
Wow.
coals, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow. I always
I
thought
didn't.
it is like a carpet that you and okay. Wow. And I want to come to that evening. Um, uh, what happened then? How was it? Was everybody standing there and then one said, "Okay, I want to go," or how? What happened?
Yes. I just, yeah, I just want to mention that there was, before the firewalk, there was a little and also big, in a way, other initiation of facing our biggest fear before we walk the fire. And I'm not sure if it's, yeah, maybe this, I don't want to say what it is, because this might be still a surprise for some people
Mhm.
that want to go through this experience. And it's just said, it's before we walked the fire, there was something where we really faced and leaned into our biggest fear and made it a full body experience as a kind of preparation for the firewalk.
And that was not the same fear for everyone, right?
No,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was very
Mm.
specific, very different fears.
Mhm, mhm,
And after this, yes, we stood kind of in the end of the firewalk in two, like in a half circle.
mhm,
In the middle there was some space so people could look into the distant and not into people's faces while they were walking the fire. And then it was, okay, who wants to go first? And then someone raised, luckily, the hand, otherwise I would have went first. And yeah, it's a crazy, like, it's a crazy experience to see someone walking above this fire. Only then it became really real. Only then it became this, well, actually he's doing something that I've never seen before. And it was like really people, like, it's so connecting to see, like, I felt so connected to the people
mhm.
walking the fire. It was like really, in a way, fevering, like being in this kind of, wow, you're doing it, go, yeah, oh my god, this kind of feeling. And then you're so happy when they come from the fire and stand there with you, and you're just like, wow, something just happened. That's insane. That's out far out there.
Wow. I have goosebumps over my whole body. It's so wow. It's so just to hear that. Just to hear that. Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Go on. Go on.
Yeah.
Just tell
Yes.
what happened with you and yeah.
Okay. And then, like, for me, I had my impulse was, I want to go very in the beginning of this firewalk.
Why did you choose that?
It feels like in my life, I had the pattern to wait
Mhm,
until, mm, yeah, to kind of play safe in a way and not be the one who goes first. And I said consciously, I want to do it differently this time. I thought about going first, but then he went first, and then it was, okay, I want to go second.
mhm,
I went second. And yeah, when I stood there in front of the fire, in a way, I felt ready and not ready. I felt like I can do this, and I'm not sure if I can do it. And then I kind of, yeah, the impulse or the structure was to say what you're going for above the fire.
mm,
Like,
mhm,
what is so important for you that you would walk over burning coals for it?
mhm,
And for me, this was in a realization of the day. And I still am afraid that this was not fully what is my deepest impulse in this moment. But for me, that was the depth of what I could find. And that is a really deep wish of mine to co-create a village, to create something, a place where children can grow up for in the space, in the healing environment of a village. And this is what I walked for over the fire. And then I walked over the fire and I could feel this heat and how it was not hurting me for the first few steps. And that was an experience that was like, wow, actually this works. This is crazy. I could feel the energy of this heat kind of moving through my body and me being relaxed in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then actually after a few steps, I could feel pain. And I was like, I don't know, is this just supposed to be like this? Is it working? Is it not working? And then I was already like, then I kept walking with this, oh, it's hurting actually. And then I came out on the other side. And then I was standing there and I was like, whoa, I did it. And then people said, Kian, let it go, let it feel. And then I just started crying. I collapsed kind of in like, wow, I did it. I'm alive. I feel I'm here, guys. And I was just like, whoa. And then, yeah, it was great for a moment. And for me, actually, then after a while, I felt like, okay, the pain is not going away.
Mm-hmm.
I made the experience of actually really feeling a lot of fear that I actually burned my feet.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of stood in the line and another person was walking the fire. And actually, she just did 2 steps on the fire and then screamed out loud in pain and walked off the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, holy shit, she just burned herself a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I just burned myself too. And I still like, and then she started kind of collapsing and being in her pain. And actually, then I started feeling my pain also more. And I was like, holy shit, actually, I feel like I've burned my feet. And this is not supposed to happen. And like people around were also being afraid, starting to get fear. Because there was just someone who obviously really burned themselves and was in big pain. And then also I started feeling pain. And then people asked like the space holder, is it actually possible to burn yourself? Because this was in a way never an option. It wasn't held as a possibility in the space. And then he said, yes, you can actually burn yourself. And I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. And I was like, in a way, I was in this kind of internal struggle with myself. Like, of course, Kian, this is like hundreds of degrees hot coal. You can burn yourself. How far away from reality are you?
Who was saying that? Which part of you was saying that?
It felt like an adult part. Like it was like, it wasn't blaming, it was like putting myself back into reality. And I noticed then with how much arrogance and kind of like, I can do this no problem, I walked over this fire. And I was like, holy shit, actually. And this was then the process. Like then I went into like waves of pain about it. Like really, I screamed. I asked for people to hold me. And I noticed how much fear, like inside of me, I walked again and again over the fire. And I noticed how much of the fear I actually had about the fire I didn't feel.
Wow.
And in a way, through walking again inside of me over the fire, I could then more and more feel the actual reality which I missed during this experience.
Do you think that when you had felt that pain, that fear before, you would have walked across the fire?
Without burning myself? I think so, yes. Because in a way, I felt like I walked more slow than my fear would have let me walk.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think if I would have felt my fear more, I wouldn't have burned myself. And actually, then like I stayed with the other people, I was really celebrating. I was feeling so much connection to everyone who walked over the fire. It was so intense. And I could feel basically when someone was burning themselves and when someone was walking over it and not burning themselves. And 4 or 5 people out of 12 people burned themselves. And the space holder said this never happened before. Like never ever anyone burned themselves really. Like, this is how I understood it. Maybe one person or something like this, but they've never made the experience of 4 or 5 people burning themselves as we did. So in a way, this really also made waves for the space holders. They were like, wow, actually, we were holding space for the possibility of people burning themselves, which we never did before. And that this is also a way, an initiation. Because for me, it felt like my arrogant brain, my arrogant structure, in a way, needed being so painfully pulled back into reality, into humbleness in a way, that my really the physical pain only in this intense quality could do it. And I could, like, I had crazy experience during this time. I was lying there really for 2 hours, something like this, screaming, maybe even 3 hours, crying, being angry, being scared of having hurt myself, being in different processes. I feel like there came more out than just the pain. It was also in a way a releasing of old pains that I carried within myself. I could feel I felt like I was being in past lives, or feeling the pain of initiations of my past lives that I went through. And like seeing, like being in this, there was a moment where Clinton stood behind me, and I could feel his kind of native spirit holding space for this kind of initiation that I went through. And really something was collapsing for me, this kind of a construct that I carried within me for so long of, I can do it with my mind, I can do it from up here. This totally collapsed. I cannot, this is not possible to create something as a village or live my life even really in connection from up here. This kind of totally burned. I was so, it was shredded, it was shattered. And I could just crawl on the floor. I was so grateful to feel the earth. I was crying, just crawling and feeling earth and Gaia, and for how much I haven't felt and valued her as I did in this moment, and respected her also, because this fire is also a part of Gaia, a part of the quality of earth that she carries, that is possible to experience this burning transformative force. And I haven't had enough respect, and I was just being humbled by this.
Yeah, and lots of beings burned in that fire.
Yeah.
Lots of small animals and spiders and ants and things burned in that, on that fireplace. And what you thought, what you said about that you, when you, after that, after you were walking, you felt that deep connection to the people that were walking after you, and that you somehow were so connected that you knew if they would burn themselves, and how it was going for them. Can you say more about that?
To me, this pain that I felt in this moment was a door that opened in a way my emotional and energetic experience for everything that's going on. And so, and in a way I could feel, or what was burning in this moment was my arrogance and my numbness to to fire, to earth, to feeling, to fear also. And I could see when someone was in this kind of state of arrogance, because it was just burning in me, in this place of disconnectedness with their feelings, because this was just burning in me at this moment. And yeah, so this is how I knew when someone, and it was so crazy because at this time, some people didn't speak of their pain. Some people were just quiet, standing in their pain because they were too ashamed of sharing it with others, of showing that they were in pain. But on the next day in the sharing circle, everyone shared what was going on. And in the kind of integration process. And this kind of reassured my experience of this evening, like which I felt there.
What would you say, what burned what burned in the fire? Which part of you burned there?
For me, a big part of my arrogance of thinking I can do it with my own will or with my own self-made up creational power up here burned. And I needed to learn in a way that there are other forces that need to pull me, that need to move me in life so things really work out. It's not, I cannot live my life from my head and plan everything perfectly out and think this is how I want it and this is how it's going to be. But it kind of brought this humbleness of there are greater forces than my own power of thinking or wanting in this small sense that move me and will bring me into the places or into the creation of what I'm really here for to create.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you. And you said that just before you were walking, you were saying that wish or that what you are burning for, what you are going for, and that was your wish to build something like a village for where children can raise up and families and people can live together. And after that arrogance burned and after you did that fire walk, did something change about that?
In a way, I lost the thought that I can do it, but not in a bad way. It's like I cannot do it from my head. I cannot do it from what I think I need to do about it. And I became more humble and was like, if this is what I'm here for to create, I will be supported in it and be in this co-creation of it, but from a different place that is more emergent, that is more in alignment with the forces of nature, with bright principles, with what needs to happen, than from a kind of arrogant, because I think this is what I'm here for to do, I will do it place.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels, it burned also a lot, it brought up a lot of fear about it, which is great. Like this fear of, is this really what I'm here for? And it kind of, this fear also burns in me, and it kind of burns out the space and the in me to really see if this is what I'm here for to create.
Mm-hmm. So what is your next step for that project?
To me, it feels like I need to, I cannot plan this. This is what's going to happen if I follow honestly my life path without having to, without doing it from my planning, arrogant thinking, this is what I need structure.
Yeah, and I hear that this is kind of the new thing that before you thought you can plan that, you can prepare for that, and after that fire walk, you notice that it's not possible to plan that. Yeah,
Not from here, not from this.
not from the
Yeah, it's kind of, it's hard for me to put really my finger on it, but it felt like there are greater forces that prepare me. Even if I want to prepare for it, it will, like, this will not work in a way. Because whether I'm being prepared for it because it's what I'm here for to do or not.
I have a last question, Kian, and this is, did you burn your feet?
Yes, I burned my feet. And it's actually, I had two this kind of big sized bubbles. I don't know how to call this in English. Burning things, and a few smaller ones. And compared to the heat of the fire and what was going on there, was still nothing. It felt like another person had such a, or two people had such big burning things.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, actually, compare, like, it's still insane. It's still like a wonder that I burned myself so little. And in a way, this pain and this crawling around felt like the part of the initiation of me really being grateful again for the feet and the earth that I can walk on. And I felt like after this, and I still feel this, the space of being so deeply connected to Gaia opened. Like I could feel it in a totally different way, and to the sky, both. Before, when I looked into the sky, I felt kind of lost and distant, but then I felt held by this big space of sky. And also in the next day in the sharing round, it was such a, even though there was a lot of pain still, it was so presencing, and I was in the earth, in the sky, with the people, with the land, and it was abundant in a way. It was such an abundant experience of life that I went through.
Oh, I have to write that up. Abundant experience. Kian, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Martina.
See you soon. Bye.
Yeah, it was really, thank you for this, giving me a chance to re-experience that in this way also. Yeah. I feel this is part of integration and still integrating.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and see you.
Yeah. Bye, Kian.
Bye.